Are you wondering what to purchase for your writer friends and family members? Well, today we're going to talk about the top great writing tools that writers we interviewed recommend. So here we are on Reality Coaching for Writers. Eddie, Jones.
We give you nothing but the real stuff. No fluff. No fluff. No fluff.
No fluff, just the real stuff. You need to succeed. That's right. Oh my gosh. Should we start over?
No, we can't start over. So again, this is Reality Coaching for Writers, and like Diana said, today we're going to talk about giving for writers. It is one of those things. If you're in a professional career, like when I was in sales, I would get ties for Christmas. My wife would constantly give me nice slacks and shirts, and sometimes the boys would give me these really funky socks to wear out when I made sales calls, and all those things were, it's part of your attire, right? As a salesperson or a professional. And we do the same thing with women. Y'all will ask for nice dresses and skirts and all that stuff. But writers, we sit in a cave, this is our environment. And so it can be a struggle for what to give that person that's a writer. And that's what we're going to talk about today. You've got a list, though. We came up with a list.
Yes, so 20 great gifts. And they range from $900 or more with the top one, the 20th one. We're going to count down from 20 to number 1, and even throw in some stocking stuffer ideas at the end.
So the first one you've got, I'm not going to go there because people just give me a hard time with my old Mac laptops. I'll let you introduce the top 20 then.
Well, just a good laptop. Everybody said how key that is to have a good laptop, because you're going to be, storing documents. You're going to need to have a great, speed. You want to have, capabilities that are a little above just the cheapest thing you can get out there. So a good laptop. And like Eddie said, the difference of opinion is as varied as the variety out there, but just get the one that you're comfortable with and that is just literally an extension of your arms and fingers.
Yeah, and I'll just add to that. I mean, I am a curmudgeon, so I've got this old laptop, Mac laptop, and I talked to Andrew at the Maranatha conference. He used to work for Apple, worked on the Genius Bar, so he knows his
wow,
Mac.
That's pretty cool.
And so he and I have talked about it for several years going up there. And he said, what I've got is the old workhorse. He said it was one of the last models that Apple made. He said, keep it as long as you can because they don't make them like this anymore, the circuit board and all that. But then this past September when I was up there, he's like, dude, you've got to get a new laptop. He said, and his point was, and we ran into this the last day of the conference, is this Mac wouldn't talk to the power projector, right? Oh. It worked in one room, but it wouldn't work in the main room. And he came back, he said, and I actually had to move everything to Andrew's laptop in order to do the presentation. Fortunately, he was there. But anyway, wow. He said, that's what you're going to keep running into if you don't upgrade and get a new Mac. He said, you're going to keep having technical problems. So my recommendation is get a new laptop or put it on your wish list and keep the old one as a backup, especially if you like it. What's number 19? What's the next one on the list?
Well, 19 was what everyone said across the board. And Eddie, why don't you read what Lori Merritt said? She's a writer, screenwriter, used to head up the Gideon Screenwriting Conference. But I love the way she put it. That a writer's conference. Go ahead.
Yeah, she said the best writing tool for a writer, no matter what their skill level is a paid registration to a writer's conference, whether full or partial. If a writer has a large family or a large circle of friends, instead of each one giving a small gift that's not necessarily needed, going in together for a scholarship is a phenomenal way to give a gift because it translates into many gifts: classes and workshops, mentoring, editing, inspiring keynotes, advice from professionals, brainstorming, networking, making business relationships, and lifelong friends. No other single gift has a ripple effect on the life and career of a writer like a paid registration for a writers conference. And then there's a whole, and we'll put this information on the website.
Right.
Some of these
We'll list
conferences.
it below, and it's a cost. I mean, some of them like range from $900 to $1,000 to, you know, retreats that are just a weekend. But the value is just, we would agree, right, Eddie, that that's one of the most valuable things.
Yeah, I mean, I've said this before, but we wouldn't be doing this right now, you and I. Had it not been for me going to the Blue Ridge Conference in 2005, and I met Cindy there, and I sat under Al Gansky and learned a lot, and under Ron Benray. And really, it was the learning, the teaching for that conference made a huge difference because for the first time I realized you could learn how to become a writer by doing nothing but going to writers' conferences. And that was completely new to me because I came out of an English journalism background at a college, and I got none of that at university. I've learned almost everything at writers' conferences and from sitting under faculty. So yeah, it's a huge investment. And if you can get people to chip in $25 and get you there on a partial, that's big. It's a big deal.
Yeah. And keep in mind, though, there are scholarships at certain conferences offer a scholarship. Asheville Christian Writers Conference, right, offers a scholarship. And check, I mean, there's all flavors of levels of conferences. There's a great one at Hampton Roads in Virginia Beach Writers Conference, and Word Weavers has the Florida Christian Writers Conference. But there's, I want to encourage you, if there isn't a Christian conference in your area, still don't hesitate to attend. That Hampton Roads conference was stacked with great faculty and great workshops, and they even invited me one year. So it's fabulous, and don't hang back. I mean, just look for what's in your area, and your area bookstores might know, but now with Google, which is on Eddie's list of a must-have tool, but you can find them in your area. You could put your zip code in, and it'll help you find writers group.
That's right. And I'm going to put a shout out to Cease Murphy because a lot of people don't know how much Cease is invested into writers, and most of the writers have no idea that Cease is the reason that they are writing now that they ever got published, because for years Cease, I get choked up just thinking about it. Yeah. Cease sends money to writers' conferences for scholarships so that people that can't afford to go are able to go. And these individuals a lot of time get published because of that, and they don't even know that Cease is behind it. He really is acting as the grace of God for a lot of us. So I'll let you go ahead and move on to the next one.
Well, and Philadelphia Conference is also one of the ones that we've participated in, Eddie, that's been a big key in helping get writers published as well. And Cease has also contributed to that scholarship fund over the years. So the next one we have is, I've got to learn how to screen share. So is Dropbox and Google Drive, because you definitely want an external storage of your files, because whatever laptop you're using, it is susceptible to just shutting down on you. And I can't tell you how many times I have talked to writers who have lost everything on their computer. And so one of the main things when I took a client on as an agent was I required them to have an external storage. And it used to be something we had to plug in and was a little box. And it just, every file you saved, it also saved it. So you had that external hard drive. But now we have the cloud. And Dropbox was the first one, but now Google's gotten in on it, and the Google Cloud is also an option. So definitely take advantage. There's free programs for both of those, and then premium and business. And I've had the free for years, but then as I grew a larger client base, I've had to have a paid service because I store a lot of manuscripts, but definitely Google and Dropbox for storage of your file. It'll give you peace of mind. You'll be able to find them and access them from anywhere.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. It's to me, if you're a writer and you don't have some type of remote, and I've got my file set up to save every minute, right? So I'm backing up every minute because I don't want to lose that one string or that one phrase that I just created, and you know, something happens, I lose it just in 30 seconds. I don't want to lose that. Of course, I'm weird, but if you don't have some way of remotely backing up without having to think about it, it's like flying in a plane in a Cessna and having no parachute and no way to land the plane. Because when it stops running, you are up there and you're going to crash. The other way of thinking about it, it's like having a really nice car. Let's just say you're writing a really wonderful manuscript and you have no insurance for that car. You wreck it, you've lost everything. And I mean, gosh, Diana, how many times have we been at writers' conferences where people have almost come to us in tears going, please, can you help me find that manuscript, that proposal? I can't, you know, and this is why that backup is so important. So it's a little bit of money, but it's definitely worth the money. For sure.
Right. I do recommend getting the large, you know, use the free till you get used to it, but then save your pennies because bigger is always better because you're going to be writing more and you're going to want to hold on to those things. So yeah. Eddie, the next one is a writing mentoring membership. So it's something that Eddie and I offer. It's subscription coaching. It's something a lot of other groups offer, like Word Weavers is a membership. Did you want to comment on that at all?
Yeah, this is not a great analogy, but these mentorships, these groups like Word Weavers and people and like what you and I are doing, it's sort of like investing in somebody and helping them get to a church, get into a congregation, getting into a community where they're going to be able to prosper and grow. Otherwise, we're just doing this individually, and it's really tough, especially when you're starting out. I mean, Word Weavers, goodness, you get in with a group like that, you're going to learn how to become a better writer, but you're also going to build friendships. And again, it's making connections. So, I mean, I think we've got a price down there, you know, $479 per year. That's not a lot of money to invest. You know, to be part of a community of writers who are going to help you get better. Small price to pay. And you don't have to spend that.
They break it down. You can pay a monthly fee, you know, but Word Weavers for the whole year, from what I was looking, I think it's only $59 for the whole year, but it's not quite the mentoring, but it is a critiquing writers group because sometimes you can't find a group of writers in your community. But I do want to encourage you, if you don't find one, start one. I find that I run into writers in church congregations all the time, and all they need to do is let each other know they're there and then get together once a month and write.
Yep.
And a big shout out to our friend that's snapping her heels in heaven, but Yvonne Lehman. She was such a mentor to writers and opened her home, and we had the privilege of being part of that writing community, and it was one of the best. And Eddie, I think we could safely say just about everybody's published that was in that group.
Oh yeah, right? Yeah, she did. Yeah, everything that Yvonne did, those seeds have all come to fruition for her.
Yeah.
So you've got down here next, number 16. You've got down Microsoft Word.
Yeah.
Tell the listeners why you think that's so important.
Well, first of all, when you send a document, when I send a manuscript or a proposal to an agent, an editor in a publishing house, they want to receive it in a Word document. And one of the reasons is they don't want to watch PDF because they want to be able to make comments. They want to be able to highlight and show you exactly where, you know, what their thoughts are on what they've reviewed for you. But also, there is a formula, there is a format for publishing, and it's the best at transmitting between all the writer to the agent to the publishing house editor, and then converting it. Eddie, you could probably speak to that, into the book format, ebooks and other things. It is the Cadillac. It's what you want to work with. Somebody just sent me something in Pages, and I could not open it, and I could not do what I needed to do as an editor for them in Pages, but in Word, I can. Now, Eddie, am I right in that Macs have to purchase, with some computers, Microsoft Word comes with the computer that you purchase, but Macs have to purchase the software. Am I correct?
Yeah, I mean, if you own a Mac, you're gonna have to buy Microsoft Office or a subscription to Microsoft Office. But that's, again, we're talking about tools that you have to do the work.
Yeah.
If you're going to be a carpenter,
if
you're going to be a carpenter, you don't have a hammer and a saw, you're not a carpenter. You're something else, but you're not a carpenter. And to your point, to that file that came to you in Pages, I mean, I can tell you exactly what, maybe not you because you've got more grace than a lot of us, but most editors and most publishers, as soon as they can open a file, they move on. They don't even, they don't respond back. They don't do anything. This was too much trouble for me. I'm moving to the next email. And that's how quickly your manuscript that you worked, or a proposal worked so hard, it didn't even get opened. And so by default, Word owns the writing software market. They just do. Macs don't have it. It is Word. You're going to have a copy of Word somehow.
Yeah. And boy, you know, even libraries offer courses on how to make the most of Microsoft Word. I mean, it has so many built-in tools to help you that are unbelievable. So just dig deeper. Of course, I'm sure YouTube has two tutorials for you, but get familiar with Microsoft Word, and it's your best friend. Yeah.
I would add to that, or tag onto it. Don't email and ask people how to do things with Word. Don't ask your editor, don't ask your friends, don't do any of that. Go to YouTube and just search. Yes. Just search. If somebody says, I don't really understand what these comments are, don't email them back. Go to YouTube and Google, have comments in Word, and you'll find a whole list of videos. Watch one in 3 minutes, you'll figure it out. You don't have, and you don't have to bother people. It's all there.
Exactly. Yeah. And you can, you know, I know we're friendly at conferences, and we are there to help you when you come, but you can't abuse that by, you know, using us for all those tiny little things. Because,
for the technical stuff.
Right, for the technical stuff. You've got to first do your own research, and then come to us with what we've asked you for. Right, good point.
Yeah, so what, number 15 is Grammarly. What is Grammarly?
Grammarly is an online assistant, writing assistant that catches typos. It'll suggest sentence structure. Some people just cannot do without it. I get annoyed sometimes because it's very traditional in sentence structure. So if your writing voice is a little bit different, it will keep trying to tell you to change it. But I do like it for what it is. And it's a plugin, and it's our app. I guess it's an app that you download to your laptop, and it'll just catch a lot of misspelled words, because spell check will miss a lot of things, and Grammarly will catch it. Eddie, do you use anything like Grammarly?
No, I should, but I tried it one time, and to the same thing. My voice was so much differently. I mean, I needed it for the grammar part of it, for the actual
Right.
misspellings and double words and lack of words and all that. It would benefit me there, but to your point, it was annoying to what it was trying to do on my voice, and I just couldn't. I'm too obsessive, so I moved on. I just hire proofers for it now.
Well, and Microsoft Word also has spell check, and it will catch a lot of that for you as well. So,
but things like Grammarly move beyond spell check. Like I
right.
said, it's looking for duplicate words like the,
right,
and twice in the same, back to back, things like that. So it is worth the money. I just don't have a copy of it. So,
and there's a free version if you want to try that first, and then. Yep. Of course, when you upgrade, you get even more from the package.
Yeah. So next, we've got a monthly subscription to Eddie and Diana for $100 an hour. That's number 14 on the list. We'll just blow by that one. I think that's kind of assumed. There's also number 12 is Word Weavers, $50 a year. We've kind of already hit on that one already.
Right, we did. And that was more a writer's group, you know. More than a mentoring type of thing, just a critique group. Yeah.
So I'll throw out number 13 we've got, which is a tool that I use a ton. And I came to this party really late because I've always written in Microsoft Word. And again, I just keep making backup copies of all the manuscript. I just date it at the end and make another backup so I don't lose anything. But this is Scrivener. And Scrivener, there's a lot of things to Scrivener that I don't use. So the main thing that I use Scrivener for, because I'm so plot based, I'm so scene, when I'm writing novels, scene based. The Scrivener, I break out every scene into its own little section. Okay. So then I go through and write that scene, and I've got it in a plot order. And then if I decide later I need to rearrange that scene, move it somewhere else, I just drag it and move it up and change it and make it another part of the story. And that's how I use Scrivener. And I've told authors who are novelists who are struggling with plot, the 3-act structure, if they're struggling to get the scenes in the right order, I was like, get a copy of Scrivener. And I tell them, I said, don't write the whole scene. Just create a scene summary, 2 sentences. This is what this scene's about, and call it, inciting incident, boom. And then move on to a call to action. That's another 2 sentences. And you can do all that in Scrivener, make these small little scenes, and then you go back in and just fill them in as you write. And it's writing just like in Microsoft Word. You're writing the same free flow, right? It's just that you're able to move these scenes around, and you can do a lot with it. Scrivener has a lot of tools to it. I think you've got it listed as what, 59, basically $60, maybe $100 for the Word version, but it's for the Microsoft version. But that, for me, if you're a novelist, at least try the free version and see if it doesn't help you, at least with your novel layout. And once you get going, you may not need it. But
and you said you're scene driven, right? As a writer.
Yes. Yeah.
And so Scrivener will work for that type of writer, but for a different writer, it's too, they wouldn't be, it wouldn't be the tool for them. And that's why, check out, when you Google up Scrivener, it'll have a video that demonstrates exactly how it works and what it is. And you'll know right away, oh boy, that's, it's kind of like sticky notes, isn't it? I mean,
that's the way I treat it, except each sticky note is its whole scene. And for me,
yeah, I thought it was fascinating. It was fascinating, but check it out.
And it also works for nonfiction for the same reason, because if you're trying to build a nonfiction book, and you wind up with a really powerful area on, I don't know, Christian living, you really enjoyed that, right? You wrote it, but it doesn't fit that section. Well, you just tag it, and then when you get to the section that it fits in, you just drag it and put it down there, and it works. It's just a great tool. Next, you've got writing books and resources, and there's a lot of books here.
Right. But I thought we could just mention them. The top one was one that several writers mentioned.
Chicago Manual Style. That's a good one. Writer's Market Guide, Christian Writers Market Guide. I had copies of those for years. I had copies of the Chicago Manual of Style that I used to send to the editors when I was running LPC. Word Painting by Rebecca McCallahan, a guide to writing more descriptively. I'll let you mention the next one because I know you like Anne Lamott.
Yeah, Bird by Bird. And it's such a great book for writers that are starting out, because it really frees you up to realize just build it little by little. Like you said, Eddie, you're building your scenes, or the nonfiction person is building what they're building. It's a great book, lots of little stories in there, but it's a good, at most writers that I talk to at conferences, Bird by Bird is still one of their favorite writing books, and that always comes up in a conversation. So I recommend Bird by Bird.
And you've got Unlocking the Heart by the artist by Matt
Tommy. Now this is a personal friend, and I actually had the privilege of editing the 10th anniversary copy of this book. But the beautiful thing about Unlocking the Heart of the Artist is he's talking about getting alone with the Father and realizing all that he has wants to create through you. So it's a really great. I've had 3 artists, authors mention this book because I've recommended it to many, but whenever I got in touch with them and asked them what book they recommended, this was one. It really helps unlock the creative process, and in very practical ways that just resonate with most writers.
I'm going to hit these real quick. Writing Successful Self-Help and How-To Books by Jean Marie Stein.
Wait, don't run past that real quick. That is one of the best for nonfiction writers. One of the best. I mean, I've taught from it, and the people that I've recommended read it say it just totally revolutionized their writing nonfiction books. So definitely that one.
The Complete Handbook of Novel Writing from Writer's Digest Books. First 50 Pages by Jeff Gerke, which I like Jeff. You're going to learn something from Jeff every time. And then The Flying Nun, A Light Bulb Moment, and Me, 40 Years of Making Money as a Freelance Writer by John Riddle. If you've never read this book, go get a copy of this book. It's hilarious, and it's a good writing.
It's great to help you embrace article writing, and it's wonderful. Yeah. The Writer Digest books. Didn't want to pull them down for this, but I used to go out and buy the used copies. So I've got copies going back, like these were published in the 60s, right? Oh, wow.
Because Writer's Digest has been doing this for years. So I've got, like the first article that Stephen King ever wrote for Writer's Digest. I've got a book with a copy of that. So if you can find used copies of these, my recommendation is go out and get a whole library bookshelf of the Reader Digest books, each year's volume, and start reading those. That you'll learn a lot from that.
Yeah. And that brings up Writer's Digest magazine, or the magazine called The Writer. And then Christian Communicators is it's a digital one now. And Christian Communicators magazine. So a subscription to a writer's magazine also would fall under these resources with books.
So number 10, we've got Amazon gift cards. That's always a good gift. Always a good gift.
Yeah.
What's number 9? Uniball Jetstream ballpoint pen.
Yeah, I think it's important to have a good ballpoint pen, and this fine point it's the number 1 across the board when writers talk about a good pen to write with. Now, many of you say, "Oh, I don't write by hand. I just sit at my computer." But you're in the car and you're going to record something. You're somewhere else, you're going to record something, because you don't want to forget. So I think it's always good practice to have good pens at hand. And that brings us to the next, number 8, notebooks.
Yeah, so the pen at hand, if nothing else, get the pen, because when you do book signings, you'll want a good pen, and that'll be the
There
one,
you go.
you have,
Yay.
bring it out.
Right.
So
Yeah.
here's my moleskin. Just, this is the one I keep, this is my, of course you can't see it much, but this is my prayer journal. I use these for my prayer journals every day for writing scripture, and I've got drawers full of these moleskins. But yeah, for $10 to be able to have something with a hardcover and jot down ideas, phrases,
Yeah.
all kinds of stuff, definitely worth the money. And it's $10. I mean, that's a good stocking stuffer.
Yes, and it's good to step away from the screen once in a while and just sit with your thoughts and yeah, or take it out on the beach, right?
Exactly. It's hard to write on the beach. Sand messes up your laptop, but you can write in a journal a ton.
That's right. That's right.
So post-it label rolls, record your ideas. What's that one about?
Well, this one came to me from Nancy Lohr. She just retired from being an editor at BJU Journey Forth Books. And she said she has found these invaluable. And I never had seen them before, but I'm definitely asking for them for Christmas, because it's a roll of tape, and you can get skinny or wide. But I thought, I use index cards to write just a phrase down sometimes and put it somewhere, and the index card falls down or whatever. So you can just, if a character name comes to you, you can just tape it right up here on your top of your laptop and just keep that in mind while you're writing that scene, or whatever. I just think they're fun. And she said that she just finds them really a great tool.
So we got number 6 is a hard copy calendar, so you can organize deadlines and assignments. So that's good.
And that one, you're going to be using more and more as you're writing, because I talked to Cindy Sproles for her writer tool, and she said calendar. This is her suggestion. And she said, I would not have gotten through the past month, she said, without my calendar. And it's a hard copy. It's something you can see. I go to dollar store and get the big block ones, and then you can fill that in, keep it on your desk like a dust blotter, or prop it up on the wall. But I agree with her. To me, I wouldn't have shown up today on time if I didn't have my calendar.
All right. Coupon for babysitter for a writer of young children, so they can have time to write. That makes sense. That's good. Also I'll add on a good door that closes and locks. That's also a helpful tool to have around the house. Number four is a gift card to your writer's favorite coffee shop, because that's a place where we can grab a few minutes to write. Tell them a little bit. Number 3,
NaNoWriMo. Once a year in November 1st, it starts. It's a worldwide community of writers that commit to writing a novel in just a short period of time. I forget the time period, though. I think it's 30 days, and you're supposed to write so many words a day. And so, sorry, I haven't participated in it, but it's okay. A nonprofit.
Let's move on to number 2, Google. We'll come back to this. We may talk about this one on another show. I think you're right.
I think we should. Yeah, I think we should, because it is a great. Many novels that are published now started in NaNoWriMo.
Yeah. So number 2 is Google. That's free. So that's a free gift. And then the last one we've got on the list are things a writer would love to find in their stocking. A coupon for a coaching call or monthly coaching subscription. We've talked about that a little bit. 12 book reviews for their newest book. 12 people who will share his or her social media post. And then the name of 5 great proofreaders and 3 top fiction editors. These last couple, the book reviews and the social media posts, these were free things. And so we were trying to find things that you could give a writing friend. And I'll probably close with this, because we're short on time. But
okay.
Probably for writers, of all the things that I've seen on this list, book reviews and people sharing social media posts are probably the biggest things anybody could give me, because they're free. They don't cost you anything. If you ask an author, most of the time they'll give you a copy of the book, or they'll give you an Amazon gift card so you can buy their book and then post a review. What would you close with, Diana, on this, from this list?
Well, I love them all, because I think anytime you're pursuing a career in something, you need the proper tools. Like you said, you need the hammer and the saw. And these are tools that are going to help you accomplish the thing that you feel called to do. You have a story in you, you have something that could help other people in their life journey. These tools are all going to help you. So just be bold, share this video with your loved ones, and just say, hey, pick something off this list. And I would love any of them.
Yeah,
so,
I agree. We're talking about investing, having other people invest in you. That's love. So that's what we're really saying. Love the writer that's around you.
Yeah. That's great.
All right, well, remind me, we're gonna circle back to that phrase that I can't pronounce and talk about that writing thing. That sounds like fun. So,
NaNoWriMo.
sounds like, yeah. All right, thank you, Diane.
All right, have a great week, everybody. We'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye.